Okay, it's been a while since I made a video, but it has been 3 months, almost to the day, since we put the bees in the box, and they have been very busy. This hive, this colony in particular, has been doing very well, and you're going to see in just a second exactly what that means. They have built comb all the way, every single one of these bars, and about maybe the last 5 or 6 bars is almost all honey. And I'll show you here. Alright, this is the last bar. Some honey on there. They're still drawing out that comb. Very docile this morning so far, so we'll try to keep it that way. Down here. And the thing about these top bar hives is when they get, you can't let them get all the way to the back, or there's no way to get into the hive without, you know, tearing up the comb. But all that is all honey right there, and they're still working on that one. I'll put this one down too. And when they start filling up with honey, they build comb against the wall to support it going up. Or just, you know, because the honey is a lot heavier than the brood combs. This is where we're going to start seeing a lot of honey. Alright, so again, all of this white stuff here, that's all honey on both sides. And they do this naturally in that all their brood, all their new babies, new bees are up here. That's where the queen lays. And then at the back of the hive, that's where they put their honey stores. And there might be honey like on the first bar up there as well. But like I said, this particular colony in 3 months has almost filled up this entire box with comb, and a lot of it is honey. And you can tell I can tell when I pick them up, they're a lot heavier. This probably weighs, and it's not even full. I mean, you can see it's still got some empty spaces. But this honeycomb right here, look at that. All that's honey. I don't know, probably 6 pounds or so. So when I pick them up out of the box, you can almost tell how much honey's on it just by how hefty it is. But these girls have been very busy. About 2 weeks ago, I cut out a comb that had honey in it, and it tasted pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But the only reason I did that was because, again, if they fill up the comb all the way to the back, then there's no way to get in there without tearing it up. So I cut one out to give them something to work on, basically. See, mostly honey. And again, that's their food stores for the winter time, when there's no flowers and no pollen. Wow, they're even building comb on the bottom. So I'm going to try to scrape that up. So anyway, you don't want to take, I mean, some beekeepers will take all the honey and then, frankly, the bees starve and they just start over again in the spring. I think that's kind of foolish. Like I said, I'm not doing this for honey. So this is the one I cut out. And they're starting to draw it out again, although they're not really drawing out that quickly. Because I still have some other work to do. But with a top bar hive, you just cut the comb off, and then they'll rebuild it. This one will probably still be honey when they're done, but they need enough honey to get through the winter time when there's no food. There's no outside food sources. So from this point, we'll start seeing kind of a mix of honey and brood together, and then mostly brood. And I'm always looking for the queen, as usual, but see, this one's got a little bit of both, but it's mostly honey on that side. This side's got some brood comb in it. And they're still filling it with nectar and pollen. But the other reason that you might want to harvest one of the top bars in this kind of hive is because if they fill all this up with honey, and they fill all the available cells with honey, and there's nowhere for the queen to lay eggs, and that's called the hive being honey bound. So it kind of helps. I mean, again, you know, bees have been doing this for millions of years without our help, but I don't want them to swarm. I don't want them to grow too big for the box just yet. This will, you know, that'll probably won't happen until next year. So there's little things I'm doing to kind of help them out, even though it sounds kind of counterproductive to cut out their work. It does help keep them healthy. And this hive, or this colony in particular, compared to that hive, that colony, this one's very docile. And I think they're very docile because they have plenty of food. They're not really in danger of going hungry. There's really not a whole lot to be upset about. So that once you get into these combs that have the brood on them, they're much lighter, you know, maybe 2 or 3 pounds, even though they have some honey on them. But you know, I'm always looking for the queen, like I said. And if I can't find the queen, I'm looking for eggs and larvae and signs that she's still active. So there's some cap brood on that one, but I don't see any eggs. But again, they're filling these up with nectar as well. So again, I'm hoping that they're not working too hard or working too good, and that there's still room for the queen to lay. But like I said, when we get up here to these top bar, or these closer bars to the front, you'll start, I assume, start seeing some signs of the queen. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but right in here, there's a bunch of larvae, which is a good sign. I'll turn around and get the sun behind me. All right, so I can see eggs all over this comb. So the queen has been on this comb. She's been laying good still. It's always nice to find her, but I really don't mess with them too much now. Again, as long as there's signs of good brood laying and there's space, and I kind of, I might check a couple more bars, and then I'm probably going to leave them alone. Yeah, see, that's a lot of good cap brood. Honestly, I wish there was a little bit more, but again, you're transitioning from honey stores into brood, so this one looks pretty good too. Not a whole lot in that one. So that's some good brood right there. See how it's nice and compact. There's a couple, a couple of empty cells for temp control. So they're looking good still. Although I don't see a lot of eggs on that one either. So we'll keep going. I just want to, get good reassurance that that the queen is doing what she needs to do. And every indication is good, right? So you got some eggs, you got good cap brood. They're very quiet and docile. If there was any chance that the queen wasn't in here, they'd be very vocal. You would hear them. They would not be this docile. And you would see signs that they were trying to make a new queen. I don't see anything like that yet either. All right, so I see eggs on this. There's eggs down there in this area. So again, all signs looking good. We're this far into it, so I'm just going to keep going, see what else I see. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find her. A lot of honey on this one. Oh, there she is. All right. Queen is right here. Going around the other side, she's right there. All right, turn her around. See if I can find her again. Yep, right there. That's the queen. She's moving. She's working the comb. So she's good. There she is. Happy, healthy colony of bees right there. So, queen's good. She's laying. Got tons of honey. I'm going to close them up. There's no need for me to be in here anymore. And they've been very polite and nice to me today. So I'm going to be polite back in return and leave them be. I made this little stand over here to help me hold the top bars. I made the mistake a couple weeks ago to... You see me turning them over. You have to keep the comb on a plane that it won't bend over on itself. Well, a couple weeks ago, I didn't do that, and I ended up breaking off a whole comb. Now, when that happens, again, just like the one I cut intentionally, they'll just build it back. But I don't want to intentionally break their house. All right, all done. I'll pick up the video on the other side, and you'll see some differences on the other hive because they're doing different things.